Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Rhonda She Podcast. Today we are talking about transformation, okay? I am telling y'all, I feel like I am in the cocoon stage of transitioning from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I feel that way, okay? So, first of all, at the beginning of the year, when everybody's typically making like New Year's resolutions and all that kind of stuff, I decided to take a different approach to my goals for the year, right? I was in a place, I was kind of in a dark place at the time. I think I was just coming over having COVID for the first time, and it was rough. Like, it was rough. So it's like, when you have an experience like that, it's like, it puts things into perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to realize how you feel about your path, about your life, about how you live, and about your circle, about what you have and don't have. And you want to do something about it. At least that's how I felt, right? So at that time, I decided, you know what? My word for this year is going to be becoming, right? Becoming Rondalyn, becoming Rhonda, right? Because I felt like I realized, it's like when you are sick and you're in the bed for weeks, you have a lot of time to think. While I'm having this moment and I got all this time to think, I began to realize that I have not been representing my true self, right? I realized, like, I'm laying here and the people who are checking on me are not the people that are closest to me. You know what I'm saying? So it made me realize, like, you know what? In order for me to represent my true self and be who I really am, and either you deal with me or you not. Either you team Rhonda or you not. But I don't need nobody else around me to make me feel like I'm not good enough or like I'm different to the point where I need to, change parts of myself in order to be accepted. I don't want to be in that type of relationship. And when I say relationship, I'm talking about, like, not just romantically, right? Because I was single at the time. I don't want to be in a relationship with those kind of people, whether they be, friends or family or associates or whoever. People who I've been there for who weren't there for me, and then the people who are less likely to be there for me were the ones that were there for me, right? And I started realizing, like, these people, they see the real version of myself, right? And the people who I conform to, who I hide myself for, the people that I created this persona for in order to be accepted, because I feel like the version of me is not a version that people are able to relate to. That person, that version of myself, it didn't get the support, So I'm telling myself, like, you know what? We're gonna have to switch this up, right? So I decided, like, the word for this year was becoming. I'm becoming myself. I'm becoming the real representation of who I really am. And either you like it and you can keep kicking it, or you don't and you can move around. I really don't. It is what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying? So on this journey of becoming Rondalyn, I realized a couple of things. First, I realized that the transformation isn't about becoming someone else, right? It's not about me becoming a whole new person. It's more about me discovering myself and letting the true version of myself out. It's about me dropping the traits that are holding me back from being the ideal version that I see of myself every day when I look in the mirror. The parts of me that make me feel good about me, right? It's the fact that the ideal version of myself has always been there. She's always been there, right? She's just been shushed, right? She's been protected by this gate, this wall, this persona that I created for myself to be perfect. I always felt like I had to be so perfect. I gatekeeped myself. Gatekeeping, right? Gates are a defensive mechanism, right? They protect what's inside the gate. So with me gatekeeping my true self, how I really feel, what I really like, what my personality is really like, I think at some point I forgot to open the gate. I became the perfect version of myself, or tried to become perfect at all costs as a kid. And the idea of perfection, it just followed me into adulthood. And now as an adult, I'm looking back and I'm like, you know what? I don't really like this. I'm not comfortable with this. What ends up happening is you get anxiety, you become depressed, you become very critical of yourself, and you become a target for people who need to suck you dry as a supply, right? You become an easy target for people who are looking for somebody to target, right? So let's talk about like the different stages. In the caterpillar stage, which is where I believe I spent majority of my life, I don't believe that a caterpillar knows that it is a butterfly until it starts to go through the changes, right? So this entire time while it's being a caterpillar, it's like, I am the flyest caterpillar you ever seen. What you mean? I am the perfect, most best caterpillar, period. Okay? And in this caterpillar stage, the things that affect you are like people's opinions, what they think about you, right? How they think you should be, how they think you should carry yourself, how people view you at work, and that's like a big thing, especially as a Black woman working in a non-Black environment. And I'm trying to say this like as easy on the ears as possible, okay? So basically, I spent like 10 years working in corporate America. A lot of the times I was the only Black girl in my department. And the comments and the microaggressions on my hair and the way I dressed and the assumptions of what they thought I was doing when I was off work, and them asking me what side of town I live on, right? And being surprised when I tell them what side of town I live on, right? And making assumptions about me that weren't true. I felt like I had to carry myself in a way so they would stop thinking these things about me and stop making these assumptions about me, right? And then, of course, it becomes a part of my personality and it spills over outside of work, right? So then outside of that, you're in a relationship. Or at least I was in a relationship. I don't know about y'all. But, it's like, okay, so you at work, you got all these opinions and microaggressions and these comments being made towards you and people looking at you a certain type of way. And then you go home and you're in this relationship and it's like, it's controlling, right? Because it's his opinions about you, but he is not as polite as the people at work. So he's just going to tell you how he feel about you while he's trying to bluster through your self-esteem to the point when he tells you your self-esteem is too high. You think too highly of yourself. You need to be knocked down a step. So now it's like, okay, I can't even be the version, I can't even be myself at home either, because every little step I take is being watched and commented on and scrutinized, right? At work and at home. Then you got the universal standards of living, right? Of what people expect you to be at this point in your life. Like, oh, you're this age, you should be married by now. You're a single mom, you are this, right? So now it's like you're trying to dispel, right, the ideas of what you should be doing versus what you are doing, and it's just a lot of pressure. And so the best thing I knew to do was to make it look like I was doing what I wasn't doing. And the energy that was put into looking like I was doing something that I wasn't was taken away from the ability to do the things I really wanted to do in order to get me to where I wanted to be at in life, which was actually a little closer to where I should have been, right? But when you allow outside influences to influence you on what you should be at in your life, because how do you know? Like, at the time, the internet wasn't popping like that, right? So the only thing you really got to go off of is the people around you and what they're doing and what they're saying and what they're commenting and how you feel about it. And you always feel like you're coming up short, right? And then on top of that, it's like the body insecurities in the caterpillar stage. At one point I was too skinny, then I was too thick. And most people might think, oh, you were too thick. You can never be too thick, baby. I was too thick. Okay? Looking back at them pictures, was not. Looking back at them pictures, could I have that thick body? Okay? Could I have that one? But I'm working on it, right? I'm getting there. But it's like, then you're dealing with that. And then on top of all of that, I've dealt with like acne my whole life, right? So it's like you got the adult acne and the body insecurities, and then the pressures of society bogging down on what you should be doing with your life. And so I sit there and I built up this gate, and like the version of me that could flourish in was behind the gate, and here I am on the other side of the gate with putting on the charade of this is who I am. Approve of me. So during that time, I didn't really realize that I was a caterpillar. I thought that I was doing things the way they were supposed to be done based off the cards that had been dealt to me, and I was doing okay. I was stressed, y'all. I was stressed the F out. Okay? Stressed. But then, like I said, I ended up catching the vid. I spent all this time in bed, and I realized the things that are the most important to me and the things that I had been focusing on for so long were not that important to me. They really weren't. And once I was able to reprioritize my priorities and what I really want out of life, I was able to step out of that situation and start stepping into the direction of being and appreciating who I am in here, right? Who I really am with the mask off, so to speak. So now that I'm in this cocoon, right? Like I'm going through the change and the cocoon is wrapped around me and I am transitioning into a butterfly. I do not care about the opinions of others, right? I go outside without makeup on 90% of the time, even though I have adult acne, right? I find peace within myself because I like me, who I am, and I approve of me. So as long as I approve of me, I really don't care who don't. Even if you writing my paychecks and you paying my bills, I still do not care, and I still have peace with myself, because just like you wrote that check, somebody else will. Just like you paid that bill, somebody else will, and then somebody else will pay the bill and write the check for this version of me. And that used to be a thing, like, oh, they don't pay my bills. When you pay my bills, you could tell me. No. Even if you do pay my bills, you still can't tell me nothing. Okay? You still can't tell me nothing. Pay my own bills. Okay? These jobs, they get outside themselves. These managers, they want to talk cocky to you, you know, and treat you like you less than because they have salary grade higher than you and they paycheck is a little bit more than yours. Just like I got this job, I can get another one, or I can make my own check and write my own check for myself. Okay, try me. Once I adopted that mindset about these checks and these bills being paid and this money, baby, and these opinions of others, then I realized I have the freedom to be my authentic self, because just like you don't like me or don't approve of me, this person does. These people over here do. I just had to take the time to find my tribe and stop trying to fit in with tribes that I'm not a part of, that I don't have a similar background to, that I can't connect to. I got to stop being around people who can't connect with me and don't understand me, and we don't have the same interests, and we're not on the same thing, and we don't want the same types of things in our lives, whether that be friendships or relationships. That's what I had to do. And once I started surrounding myself with other people who think like me, walk like me, want like me, I started realizing these people are my people, and we like each other, and they ain't got to change nothing about themselves to be accepted in this circle, because we understand each other and the conversations match up and the mindsets match up, and we read in the same types of books, right? We are attracted to the same types of things. The same types of things excite us, me and my circle of folks. You feel me? So while I'm in this cocoon, right, and I'm feeling the freedom to be my authentic self, now I have the room to focus closely on my physical and my mental health. So that looks like me taking the time to meditate. It looks like me taking the time to go to therapy, right, and let go of the misconceptions of what it means to go. Because at the end of the day, we all need a coach. We all need some type of somebody that we can open up to and not be judged for it. Because how many times have you opened up to somebody, right? A friend, a family member, a co-worker, whoever y'all be opening up to, your significant other. And then when things get a little tight and that conversation get rough and you done threw some bars at them, things ain't going so great. They dig in their bag of tricks and pull out that weakness of yours. They pull out that sensitive spot of yours. They push that button. Let me trigger her. Let me get you activated. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody. Okay? Once you get to the point where you're not oversharing anymore and putting people in your business, then you can't feel some kind of way about them bringing it up and using it against you, because they don't even know about it. It ain't their business. If they weren't there, they don't need to know about it. Because we all go through different stages of our lives, and maybe something that you experienced in your teens or your early adulthood years is not who you are anymore. So why does that need to be a part of your life right now? Why should that be something that's holding you back still? You experienced it, you learned from it, you moved on. Other people do not move on from your mistakes that you make in the past because it's useful to them, to a lot of them, right? Everybody's not like that. I'm not like that, you know. But I know people who are. I've been in a group chat where there were two people arguing, and when one person started losing, they started bringing up things from 20, 30 years ago. It's not who that person is anymore. You're not even who you were back then, right? That's why you need to find your person, whether that person be somebody you pay or somebody you can completely trust, okay? All right. Now, also in this cocoon that I'm in, I'm able to drop that weight, right? Because not only did I go from being too thick, from the version of the thick I wish I was now, to I became too thick, like goddamn. Baby, tighten it up, okay? So I've been able to focus on getting this body together, right? By eating better and treating myself better and taking better care of myself. Putting the focus on me and my physical health versus being out in these streets, you know, just being out here, just eating whatever, not paying attention to what my body's trying to tell me. When she's trying to tell me, we don't like this. I don't feel good after I eat this. This doesn't work for me. And I'm like, you gonna eat this, okay? Because it tastes good. No. Okay? And I'm clearing my skin up, right? It's like it's the transition. Like it's the cocoon stage for me. Okay? And I love the person I am, that I am. Not the person I'm becoming, the person that I am. The person that's been here all along. Like, she always been here. She's been sitting back waiting for her chance to shine, to show up and show out. I can feel it. Like, I can feel the butterfly stage, like, coming. And it's like, you know, we all do things at different stages in our lives. Like, there are people who reach that butterfly stage at a younger age, you know, and there's some of them that reach it at my age, and some who reach it at a later age in life. But whatever your journey looks like and whatever your transformation looks like, you got to do it on your time, because you have to learn from it and you have to accept the things about yourself in order for you to appreciate it and not fall back, right? Because what happens to a butterfly once it stops butterflying? It loses its wings. The wings start to fall off. When we were kids, we used to catch butterflies, right? And my cousins, they're boys, they would like pluck their wings off. And the butterfly would still be alive, but then it was like a back to being it was like a centipede. Right? Not as flamboyant and bougie, right? Still the same thing, but clipped. That's why you got to be ready and have yourself around the right people, and make yourself less susceptible to being caught up and getting clipped. Because there are people out there that when they see you doing good and see you blossoming, here they come, the clippers. Pluck, pluck. That's what they do. But anyway, I hope y'all like this episode. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about today, but I was inspired earlier just by some thoughts I was having while I was washing dishes. Washing dishes thoughts, right? No, but for real though, thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you by Motivated Coffee. Make sure that you guys go to my website, okay? RhondaShe.com. The links are there for the podcast. You can listen to it here, you can listen to it there, you can listen to it everywhere. The link is there for the coffee, okay? For my coffee, okay? Motivated Coffee, and some other products that I have, okay? So the link is below. There's also a discount code below. You could use that, 15% off your cart if you use that code. Bam! And until next time, peace. Wait.